Hello and welcome to Superior Sisterhood, the self-care sessions. I'm Nicole Murray, a women's empowerment coach and the host of these amazing sessions. And today I'm very happy to introduce everyone to Viktoria Jones. Welcome, Viktoria.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be a part of these sessions.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear everything that you have to share. If you don't know Viktoria yet, she owns Soulgy Nutrition and she's a registered holistic nutritionist. And so let's just start there. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and the work that you do.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm Viktoria Jones. I am the owner of Soulgy Nutrition. I am also the creator of a program called Lose It in 6, where I help women to learn how to listen to what their body needs, learn how to eat according to those needs, and then also take care of themselves, body, mind, and spirit. So it's really fun. As a holistic nutritionist, we're a little bit different than a typical dietitian or nutritionist in a sense that we don't work in a hospital, and my focus is science-based but also spiritual and emotional based. So I look at every individual as a whole complete person, and when I'm working with a client, I address their stress levels and their emotional health and their connection with food, as well as their actual nutritional needs. So my work is really symptom based, and yeah, I really enjoy it. A little bit more background on my education. I studied at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. I graduated in 2014 with honors and have since, done additional trainings in sports and exercise nutrition, in self-compassion and mindfulness, in culinary nutrition, and, a few other little things that have just help me to fill in the gaps whenever I'm working with clients and I'm finding that there's something that's missing. I always just try to take an extra course or two. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me and my educational background.
Sweet. I love how you bring the full package. So you're going to have all kinds of tips to share today. But before we get into your tips, I would love if you can think back to a time when you had some sort of an awakening regarding your own self-care.
Yeah, for sure. So just to give you a little bit of background on me and where I was before I actually studied nutrition in school, I had been on and off every single diet that you could ever imagine. And as a teenager, I struggled a lot with body image and self-confidence, and my weight was another thing I struggled with. And my mom, even if I talk to her nowadays, she reminds me, like, Tori, you were on every single diet. Like, you were always on a diet. And like looking back now, it's so sad for me to see my younger self and like the lack of confidence that I had because of social media or peer pressure or whatever it was, telling us that we have to look and be a certain way. And that led me, on and off this dieting roller coaster. And also, like, I've brought with me like all this like emotional eating baggage that I tied with my eating habits. And so right after high school, I went abroad and I volunteered for a few years just because I wasn't happy, with myself and with where I was in life. And so I kind of just took that and traveled. And as I was able to like go and experience the world, I was able to figure out who I was and that my worth didn't depend on how I looked or, what group I fit into. And so when I came back, I felt like this new person, but I was kind of shoved back into this old mold that I had been in previously. And, a few years later, I got married and I got triggered into going on another like extreme diet for my wedding. And so I had lost like 20, 30 pounds for my wedding, and I was just miserable because when we deprive ourselves of the things that we need, our emotional health and our physical health isn't actually being taken care of very well, and that leads you to a breaking point. And so my breaking point was a few months after I got married, and I was working 2 jobs. I was working in accounting. I actually studied accounting before I studied nutrition. Completely hated my career. I was miserable. That's all I can explain it. And I was just grabbing whatever I could eat whenever I could eat it. And I quickly gained back all of that weight that I had lost for my wedding and plus some, And I just remember like having this huge breakdown and like looking at myself in the mirror and telling myself like, I hate myself. Like I don't like the way that I look. And for me, that was a point, sorry, I don't mean to get emotional, but that was a point for me where I realized this isn't okay. It's not okay to be treating myself the way I was treating myself. And my husband, bless his heart, he's so supportive. He was like, okay, that's it. No more diets for you. No more, like, we're not doing anything that you don't want to do anymore. And then we just sat down and we had a session, and he said, what do you want to do with your life? And based on my experience traveling abroad and helping people, I had volunteered the entire time I was abroad. I said, I want to serve people. I want to help people. And he said, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, first off, I need to learn how to take care of myself, and I need to learn how to eat properly. And so that's what led me into studying nutrition. And then those two passions kind of together led me to helping people, kind of people who are at the same situation I was a few years ago, get to now where I am now and have a remarkable relationship with themselves and with their body and with food, and be able to, move past that feeling or those understandings or ideologies that we're not good enough the way that we are. So. Well,
thank you for sharing your vulnerable story. I know from experience that women listening, just hearing your story, they can walk away feeling inspired, because you've already shared so many words of wisdom. It's so great to see that we're not alone, and that other people are going through similar things that we are. And how lucky that you had a support person, your partner.
Yeah.
Wisdom to help you. Now, obviously, you're ready to share your own wisdom. And so that brings me to our next question, is this whole piece of self-care. So when you are supporting yourself and all the women that you serve, what are your top ideas for self-care?
Yeah, so first I like to help my clients understand what self-care is, because there is a difference between self-care and self-love, which we can talk about next too. But just briefly, the idea of self-care is taking care of your physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Self-love is understanding who you are as a person and your worth, and recognizing that your worth as an individual never changes. So they're two separate things. One is understanding and loving yourself exactly how you are right now. The other is recognizing you have physical needs and emotional needs and spiritual needs that need to be taken care of on a daily basis. So that's what some points I wanted to share with you today about. So the first thing for taking care of your personal health is to be honest with yourself and to ask yourself, what do I need help with right now? And that one question, I feel like a lot of my clients just have never asked themselves. They're so busy always putting like their kids' needs first, or their work needs first, or their husband's needs first, or whatever it is. They're running around trying to take care of everybody else, but they never took a second to stop and ask themselves, what do I need? What am I lacking in my life, and what do I need? And so to me, like, I can tell you all these things, like make sure you get enough sleep and get enough water and exercise and, and eat right. Those things are all important. But you have to know the root, like what is it that you need, and ask yourself that first, and then be willing to accept help. So if you need help, ask for the help that you need. If you need a support person, ask for that support person, because people are available here to help you. And that's my first thing, is to make sure that you're honest with yourself and you ask for help first. The next thing, of course, is going to be sleep, like I said. So like I do focus on nutrition, and that's my last point. But the first one before nutrition is your sleep. If you are running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you're not getting enough sleep, and you're overworking yourself, and you're constantly in that overwhelmed state, it doesn't matter how good your nutrition is or anything like that, because you're not going to have the time or the energy to prep your food and to make a nutrient-dense diet if you're not sleeping. So set up a morning and evening sleep routine. Like, get in that habit of preparing 15 minutes before you go to bed by shutting off your cell phone and making it a habit to get up at the same time every morning and go to bed at the same time. Give yourself some time to rest and recover from taking care of everybody else. And when you do that, you'll be surprised that you actually have more energy to devote time and energy to your physical health. But if you don't do that, it's going to be a huge piece that's missing from that puzzle. And then the last thing, of course, is to eat a nutrient-dense diet and learn to listen to what your body needs physically. So I'm talking like pay attention to the symptoms that you're experiencing when you eat certain foods. When you wake up in the morning, like, are you feeling nauseous after you eat breakfast? Are you bloated an hour or 2 hours after you eat? Are you feeling, pay attention to your physical symptoms too. Like, are you getting acne when you eat sugar or dairy or gluten? Are these things triggering you? Do you have energy throughout the day? Or do you find that mid-afternoon, you're having a dip in your energy levels? So start paying attention to what your body's telling you. Those little tiny, hints that it's dropping you throughout the day are signals that something is lacking nutritionally inside of your body. And you can't address those unless you start listening to what your body's telling you. So the third point of advice would be to start listening to what your body's saying by paying attention to the symptoms that it's having throughout the day. And then, of course, seek out nutritional advice to help, to recorrect those imbalances that you have in your diet. And a great way to do that, and I can provide this for you too, is just using a symptom-based tracker. So keep track of everything that you eat for 2 days, everything that you're drinking, all of the water consumption, and then also pay attention to your emotional state of mind at different times of the day, and then your physical, like how you feel physically about 1 to 2 hours after you eat. And keep track of that, and it'll give you a really good idea of what your body is missing and what you can, help to recorrect in that area.
I've never heard of a tracker like that. It's always all about what's going in your mouth, but that makes so much sense to track the symptoms. That's the whole point of doing it.
Yeah, I try to help clients learn to figure out the symptoms they're experiencing and then eat according to those.
Absolutely. And thanks at the beginning there for differentiating between self-care and self-love, because that can be so confusing. And so you so clearly and eloquently, explained the difference.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
Maybe that will roll into my last question for you is, what's going on? You find, are there any commonalities below that self-care, the deeper issues, and how you like to address those?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. And I just want to say, like, flat out, for anyone who's listening, there's a lot of issues for all of us. Like, it's not an individual thing. And I think a lot of us think that all of our problems around eating or self-image or self-love are personal, like that nobody else in the world feels this way that you feel about yourself. That's wrong. Like, I work with tons of women. Every woman I work with has self-love issues, has self-confidence issues, doesn't think that they're pretty enough or good enough or smart enough or whatever enough. And so it's universal. That's the first thing to remember, that we're not alone in this. And people, the root of it, people are afraid to ask for help because they think, oh, something's wrong with me. Something's not right. And they're ashamed of it. They feel like they're a failure. Leading into that with the failure feeling, another root problem is that they are constantly overexerting themselves to take care of everybody else, but they're not taking care of themselves. And even more, they feel guilty for taking care of themselves, which is really sad, because you can't take care of other people unless you first take care of your own needs. But we have this idea in our head that it's wrong to take care of our own needs. And that's not true. You have to take care of your own needs before you can take care of someone else's needs. Otherwise, you're just going to be a walking zombie. And I think those two lies are really, really a big part of it, that I'm not good enough and that I'm a failure, or that I'm not worth it, to take care of myself, which is really sad. And then the third thing is deep-rooted emotional issues, for food at least, connected with food. Food goes way back till when we were babies. Our connection with food started when our moms first started to nurture and feed us. And we've grown up with these connections around food. You shouldn't leave the table before you've eaten everything on your plate. You don't get a treat until you've done this. We've learned that these are reward-based. And so growing up, we have all of these connections now around food. We've learned that happy memories are related with birthday cake and, Christmas treats and all of these celebrations. And so when we feel bad, when we are depressed or lonely, we are thinking, okay, what can I do to make myself feel better? And rather than saying, hey, let's go for a run, let's get some rest, let's drink some water, let's reach out to a close friend, we're thinking, oh, birthday cake, Christmas chocolates. Those are the things that we think, because we've been raised our whole life to have these different connections around where we get satisfied with different emotions. And part of that is just recognizing that's okay, but you need to really dive deep into yourself and understand, okay, what are my base beliefs that I have, and are they true or not? And are they helping me to take care of myself or not? And those root beliefs are the biggest issue. Those are the root cause of why people have, self-confidence issues. They have issues with their weight and their eating habits, is because they're not taking care of themselves, because they don't realize that they're good enough just the way that they are, that nothing can change that they are worth all of the effort in the world, and they don't have to take care of everybody else first, that they can, let go of that idea and take care of themselves. And then also that, it's not your fault that you're an emotional eater or that you've got these issues around food. Everybody has them, but it is your responsibility to take care of yourself and to do something about it.
Awesome. I'm just so happy that you provide that holistic approach, because, that's how I feel that you can really get to the bottom of the issue and solve it long term.
Yeah.
On that note, how can ladies get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, you can definitely follow me on my social media accounts. You can follow I have an Instagram account and a Facebook account and a website, and they are all Sold You Nutrition. So you can, in the chat bar on Facebook, you can just look up Sold You Nutrition, and I should pop up. And then you can also go to www.soldyounutrition.com. I should just say this real quick, I offer a free wellness and weight loss Facebook group for women. It's a free group, and I offer tons of wonderful resources in there. I do weekly videos to teach you just, how to get rid of the diet mentality, how to make different recipes. And then if you would like to do more coaching with me, I also offer one-on-one coaching as well as group holistic eating and weight loss programs. I run those once a month.
Beautiful. So I'll be sure to share some of those links.
Wonderful.
And connect. Any parting thoughts, Viktoria, before I let you go?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit with this community, and then also thank you for putting this together. I think that we were talking before the interview started, but I'm just grateful that there is somebody out there who is trying to build this space for women to go to, who are looking for support and self-care, and it's awesome. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. It's so great to know so many wonderful human beings in our own town that are really helping women with their wellness issues. So thanks again.
Yeah,
and
no problem.
on behalf of Viktoria and I, thanks everybody for watching, and we are cheering you on as you head out there and take good care of you. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.